This is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
All right, welcome to the afternoon show presented by ESEN. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
Oh, going pretty good. Going pretty good. Quite a bit of news. Got some NBA, some WNBA, some baseball, a little bit of hockey. First up, I just seen here a few minutes ago, the last hour or so, Mike Brown named the new coach of the Knicks. What's your thoughts on that?
I figured that's where they were heading. I'd seen yesterday, I think I mentioned on the show yesterday, I thought that's who their new coach was going to be, but I'd seen that he was going back for a second interview, and Shams had said that he was pretty much the front runner. I mean, he's a good coach. It just don't make sense. Let's get rid of Thibodeau, and then you get Brown. If you were getting rid of Thibodeau, to me, like I said yesterday, you should have had a plan. And to me, you're going after a guy that had won a championship or something that you thought was a big upgrade. Nothing against Mike Brown, but I don't think Mike Brown's a big upgrade over Tom Thibodeau. So to me, at best, it's a lateral move, if not a little slight, maybe a move backward in a way. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Knicks. But it sounds like the reason the owner decided to get rid of Thibodeau was because of players complaining about being too hard. So now you're bringing in somebody else, somebody that's maybe known more for being a players coach. But is he going to let the players run the show, and is it going to turn into a circus? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with New York. I mean, Brown had been a coach for the Pacers before. I mean, he's been head coach before, and he hasn't done a bad job. So I think he'll do good for him. It's just, to me, it's a lateral move at best.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I was getting ready to ask you, did you think it was? That's what I had heard, and I didn't know if it was the owner or if it was the players. I kind of believe it was the players that helped get rid of him.
I heard that owner Dolan had met with some of the players, and some of the players was complaining about how many minutes and stuff that Thibodeau was playing and not playing the bench enough, and complaining about, and Dolan decided to make a change.
Yeah, I can see that to a certain degree, Chris, but also that's kind of where the team was built. I mean, it wasn't built. I mean, he's a defensive guy. They went away from that, went with more offense, and they didn't give him a lot of bench strength. Should he played him more during the season? Maybe that's easy to say after the fact. And once they got in the playoffs, and especially once they got against the Pacers, and when the Pacers played, they had to play more bench. He didn't have much choice. There wasn't enough bench strength there. Let's be honest. I know they've made a few moves. I don't know if they still have enough bench strength. Of course, they won't have to. The Pacers quite possibly not going to be one of the teams they're going to have to contend with. I mean, I hope they are, but a lot of things have changed with the Pacers right now. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good move or not. I mean, I like Mike Brown. Like I said, he coached the Pacers. He's coached other teams. I think he's a good coach. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say a great coach, but he's a good coach. Also seen where the Pacers made a qualifying offer to Isaiah Jackson, which we figured they would. Do you think he will? You think he will accept it?
Yeah, I think he will. He's a guy that's coming off an injury, so I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a real big market. You know what I mean? I don't know how many people outside of the Pacers have really seen him play a lot. I'm sure like other teams in the league, but like a lot of fans probably don't know who he is. He's a pretty good. He's I think going to be a big part of our team now, especially with Turner moving on. He's a good rebound. He's a better rebounder than what Turner was. He's athletic big, so it's going to be interesting. I do think he'll sign. My only concern with him is coming off that injury. Is he going to be ready at the beginning of the regular season?
Yeah.
That's the only thing with him. But as long as he's ready at the beginning of the regular season, I think he's going to have a pretty good year for the Pacers. So I do think he signs the offer.
Things are kind of tough with the Pacers, and I'm not going to blame the Pacers. I mean, I'm not saying that they made a mistake, but some people were saying they made a huge mistake by not giving Turner market value. Some people were saying, no, that was the right move. Who knows? I mean, I think time will tell. I think it was just bad timing all the way around because a lot of the other centers out there had already signed now. So they don't have a lot to choose from. I mean, there is the one guy from Portland, but whether they want to spend that kind of money, $7, $8, $9, $10 million a year, I don't know. And of course, the Lakers are going to be interested in him also. So, I don't know. I know you got a guy like Wiseman who's with nobody right now. Of course, he had that injury first game of the season. So I don't know if he would be available, even if you signed him back. If he would be available first part of the year, you probably get him for next to nothing. But I do know he's with nobody right now. So I don't know what do you think they do?
I think they're going to depend on Jackson a lot. I think Tony Bradley, they just re-signed him, so he's going to get some minutes off the bench. I look for him to still try to bring in another big guy, but I don't know if it's going to be. It could be maybe Ayton, but I kind of think they're going to probably get somebody maybe cheaper. If Wiseman's healthy, they might bring him back, and because he was looking like he was going to fit in with the team pretty good when he was there last year. But yeah, I look for him to bring somebody. But I don't think it's going to be like a big name like free agent or anything. I think they're going to try to fill the roster out the best they can this year, and then maybe next year they'll make a bigger move in free agency when they get Halliburton back. You mentioned some people are saying that Pacers made a mistake. Some agree with it. When they first done it, when it first happened yesterday, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, man, maybe they should have paid him. But more I think about it, I think they made the right decision. I like Miles Turner. He's been a great Pacer, but by the time you get Halliburton back, you're talking about a guy that's almost 7 foot tall that's going to be 31 years old, and the style that the Pacers played, the running up and down, is his body. How long is his body going to hold up playing that way? And in basically 2 seasons, is he going to be the same player when you get Halliburton back? And also in that, I believe he will be the same player, but there's no guarantee Halliburton's going to come back after missing next season and be full strength. It might take him a little longer, we've seen guys come off them kind of injuries that don't get back all the way. I think Halliburton will, because he really don't rely on being explosive like Derrick Rose and some of them guys. So I think he'll be fine, kind of like KD was. Plus, the medicine and surgery has gotten a lot better now than what it used to be as well. So these people are recovering from the Achilles at a lot higher rate than what they used to. But I think with everything going on, I think if Tyrese Halliburton doesn't get hurt, there's not a doubt. There ain't much doubt in my mind that Miles Turner would still be an Indiana Pacer. I think they would have offered him a bit more money, and he would have stayed. But I think after Halliburton got hurt, it kind of shifted everything from a front office perspective.
Yeah, I agree with you. Except the only thing is he if you look at his playoff run, it seemed like each series it got a little bit worse. Especially with the last series, he didn't play well the last series. At times, he played some pretty good defense, but his offense wasn't there like it was in the first series. So maybe he wore down a little bit. I don't know what it may have been what the defenses did. Who knows? It was tough for me because I know he's a real popular guy. Great. It was great for the state of Indiana, for the city of Indianapolis. I do believe he wanted to be there. Also, I understand he wants market value. I mean, I can't blame him there. So it was a tough situation. I think it may be the right situation though, because I think with Halliburton being hurt, like you said, I think if Halliburton got hurt, I don't think it would have been a situation. I think he would have probably been re-signed because that may have changed things for him too. I mean, like he's wanting to try to get a championship. He may think in his mind, I'm gonna have a better chance getting a championship next year with Giannis since there's no Halliburton. So I mean, there's several different ways to look at it, and there's going to be some free agents next year. There's going to be a lot of free agents next year. Not not necessarily a lot of sinners, but there are going to be some players that are really good out there. One of them being the guy from the Lakers, of course. But I would think the Lakers are going to pay everything they can for him. But we'll see there. I was going to ask you what team in free agency. And I know Houston, of course, but is there any other team besides Houston and that stands out to you that you think has really made a big splash with the free agency and trades?
I do think Orlando has gotten better with picking up Bane because they needed a shooter bad. So I do think Orlando improved. I like what the Utah Jazz did in the draft. I think they might have picked up another guy on free agency too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I did like the two guys they drafted. I think that's going to help them in the long run. Pacers, I like the guy the Pacers drafted. I'm trying to think. Trying to think of some other teams that have done a lot. I mean, Houston's done quite a bit. Dallas Mavericks, I think, are going to be a good team next year.
Denver.
Yeah, Denver. I do like the moves Denver made, bringing back Brown, and then who was the other guy they brought? You remember
They made that trade and got Cam Johnson.
Yeah, Cam Johnson. Getting Cam Johnson and Brown, I think, are big.
There was a couple other moves. Couple other moves they made too.
I like what Denver done.
Who do you right now? Of course, I'm talking about today. There could be more moves made, stuff. Who would be your favorites? Who would be maybe your top 5 teams in the NBA? Not necessarily in the East or the West. You're just your top 5. Who would you rate number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to have the best chance to win a championship?
Let's see. You have to have OKC up there because they're basically probably going to have pretty much the same team, if not a little better. I think the Dallas Mavericks, if they're healthy, are going to be up there. I like the moves that Denver Nuggets have made. I think Houston Rockets. That's all from the West. I ain't mentioned the team from the East yet. And then from the East, man. Oh, man, from the East is tough because of all the injuries and everything. I would say probably you got to put New York up there, and I think the Detroit Pistons are going to be pretty high up there in the East as well. And then of course Cleveland, I think is going to be good again. But then we're probably like the top like 5 or 6 teams. I think Milwaukee's going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be. I still don't have them as a championship contender.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would put the Knicks, Cleveland, Detroit in front of Milwaukee. Them would be my 3 in the East: the Knicks, Cleveland, Detroit, and Detroit's going to be kind of my sleeper. I wouldn't be shocked if Detroit couldn't possibly make strides and take that division next year. I would not be surprised. The West is hard, man, because there's a team everybody's kind of forgetting about a little bit. Of course, they're a year older, but if he don't get hurt, if Steph don't get hurt, how far could they have went last year? I mean, Golden State could. I think people are. You're going to have Butler for a whole season next year.
Well,
hopefully.
Another team in the West that people forget about too is the Clippers.
Yep.
Clippers are a pretty good team, and I mean, hell, they almost beat Denver last year, and Denver almost put Denver out in the playoffs. I would like to see what the Clippers would have done against OKC if they would have beat Denver. So I mean, Clippers are a pretty good team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in the West, of course, you got to give Thunder the advantage. Even though I won't pick Thunder to win the championship next year. If I was going to pick a team right now, right this minute, at first I was going to say Houston, but I really like what Denver's done and Denver's experience. So I think I would put my favorite right now would be Denver to win it all. Of course, we're very early. And the Warriors, watch out. You can't count out Minnesota, and like you mentioned, Dallas. But in the East, I think the Knicks and Cleveland and Detroit would be the teams. And I'm going to say Thunder, Denver, and Houston would be the top three teams in the West. But it should be interesting with some more moves to come still. So, I mean, who knows? We could get a shocking. They're still talking about whether a lot of people don't believe this new owner really wants LeBron. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more. But I think it's more of. I think that's more the media building the narrative. Myself, I mean, everybody knew he was going to opt in for that one for at least this season. So if they do want to move on from him, they'll move on. They can move on from him after this season. So I think that's when it'll happen. I mean,
that's what I think.
I do know there's a chance that something could happen. I just don't see it. I think he's gonna finish his career out probably in LA. If he does move, it'll be after this year if he decides to play another year. But I think he's going to finish out in LA. I don't think he really wants to move his family right now because he has one son that's getting ready. Another son that's getting ready, I think, be a freshman at Arizona in college, and then he has his daughter. So I think he likes being in LA because of his other businesses and stuff. So I don't know. I don't. But the only team I see him maybe going to, like I said earlier in the year, is if he maybe goes to the Golden State Warriors and teams up with Steph.
And one thing I wanted to go back to real quick, Pacers their number one pick back next year.
Yes.
So that's kind of interesting that they did get that back. So. And where it could be. I mean, if the Pacers fall, there's been people, I've seen people write that the Pacers are going to tank next year. I don't believe that.
No, I don't believe that at all. I mean, who are you tanking for? I mean,
yeah. Well, somebody said there's a lot of great guys coming out next year. I don't know who they're talking about.
Like who you tanking for? And two, like tanking don't guarantee you nothing. Like. Look, the Dallas Mavericks had one of the lowest percentages of getting the number one pick and got it. Like it don't. Well, yeah, it might guarantee it be in the lottery, but it's not going to guarantee you to get the number one pick.
Yeah, most definitely.
NBA's going to give that number one pick to whoever they want to have it. I don't think the Pacers are the team they want to have it.
No. May see Boston if they have a pick. They may see Boston get it if there's a way. But let's move on to the Indiana Fever. They won the Commissioner Cup last night. I did notice some people online said, well, that's a bad sign because the last 3 years, the team that's won the Commissioner Cup has not won the WNBA championship. And also, something I noticed too, the team that was in the Commissioner Cup but lost is the team that won the WNBA finals the last 3 years, I believe. So, your thoughts on the Fever? They held the I'm trying to remember, it was Minnesota, right? Held Minnesota down to the Lynx. Held them down in the second quarter. In the last 8 minutes, they didn't score a point. I mean, so that was incredible, and the Fever pretty much took that game over there in the second quarter. So big win for the Fever, and without Caitlin Clark. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to mention. It's a big win, especially with not having Caitlin Clark, which still missing because of that growing injury, and and that's why I don't think it's a bad thing, a bad sign, or a bad thing that they won because of others. When you win this, other teams haven't won, is because they were able to win this game against a good team without your star player, and we've been playing pretty good ball with when Clark's been out to kind of stay afloat and give ourselves a chance. So, yeah, I'm excited for what this Fever team. I think they still have a good chance to make a deep run in the playoffs, especially if Caitlin Clark can get healthy. Because the team they put around her is a lot better than what we had last year, or what they had last year, and we're playing, and we're competitive. We're being competitive without her, which is a great sign.
Yeah, one thing I noticed last night in some of the game I watched is even though Caitlin's a great passer, but I noticed the ball movement, even with her not on the floor, was very good last night. I mean, really good ball movement, playing as a team. I think there would be a playoff team. I don't know if I want to say contender without Caitlin, but they would definitely be a playoff team even without Caitlin now because they built such a good team. And heck, I may think they may be still a top 4 or 5 team without Caitlin. So with Caitlin, I mean, I think they've got a shot at it. We got to get her healthy though, and hopefully she can get healthy enough and play enough games with the team that they're gelling right. But a big win for them. I think good for the city. Good, they've never won that before, so I think that's a positive. If I remember right, ain't the All-Star game in Indy this year?
I believe so.
Yeah, so the Indy's getting a lot happening for them right now. The Fever is definitely moving in the right direction. Going to move on to a little baseball. Seen something last night. Ohtani hit his 30th home run of the year already. Thinking about 85 games. Also seen the other night, he pitched a couple innings. He threw the ball 102 miles an hour also. So your thoughts on Ohtani already getting 30 home runs for this year? And what are you thinking about Ohtani and the Dodgers?
I don't think what Ohtani's doing is very impressive because he's not doing it drunk like Babe Ruth did.
True, that's true. Jay would be. That's true.
No, in all seriousness, no, Ohtani right now, him and Judge I would say, are the best two, especially power hitters in baseball. I mean, him and Judge. I know Judge went through a little slump, but Judge has been hitting the ball real good all season as well. It's just interesting to me is how long is he going to be able to pitch and try to hit both? As well as good as he's hitting the ball, I don't even know if I would be messing with him pitching anymore, because pitching you only get him once every 5 days, and when you got him out there hitting, you're getting production from him every day. I don't know. I kind of wonder would it be better to maybe, instead of trying to be a starting pitcher, to be bring him out of the bullpen, like either a closer or like a short inning bullpen guy.
That might be a possibility. I don't know. Would that be? Could that be more wear and tear?
I don't know. I mean, hell, if you're DHing or whatever, and then they bring you in the ninth to close out the game. I mean, I don't know if it'd be any more wear and tear than the. See, I think it might be less than starting if you're just doing that, because you're only going to be pitching 1 or 2 innings at a time. Where if you're starting, you could pitch. You know what I mean? 5, 6, 7.
You want at least 5 or 6 out of them, yeah. That's a good question. I think one of the reasons, first of all, I think he wants to pitch. That's the main problem.
Yeah.
But also the fact that I think that they got so many injuries with their pitching right now, they almost kind of need them. But that is something, I mean, down the road, maybe this year he pitches, maybe next year, but, is he going to continue to pitch 3 years from now, 4 years from now? That's a good point.
How long is his arm going to hold up? Because he's had, I think that was basically the second Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, he could be one injury away from not pitching anymore. That's true. Another thing that stood out to me was Paul Skeens, who pitched an incredible game yesterday. They won. Pittsburgh won 1-0. They're on a hot streak. They've won several games in a row. But the thing that stood out to me about that was his ERA is 1.44 right now in his last 10 games. But in the last 10 games, he only won one game, even without earned run average. That is nuts. Your thoughts on Paul Skeens and what he's done the last 10 games?
No, yeah, Paul Skeens is he's awesome. That dude's a tough pitcher. I like watching him pitch. He's in a situation kind of like what we've seen with Hunter Green and Andrew Abbott a little bit last year, is where pitch 7-8 innings a game, not give up nothing, but not get no run support. And it's for some reason, I know Pittsburgh's not a real great team, but if you look at it, for some reason when Skeens is pitching, the other team don't score, but the Pirates don't hit the ball. He don't get much run support when he's pitching,
No.
at all. That's his biggest problem. Is it seems like the days he pitched, the bats go down, go way down for Pittsburgh. I don't know if they maybe relax a little bit because they think, hey, the other team's not going to score no runs today, or what happens. But yeah, he just don't get enough run support at all. Like, because with the numbers he's putting up, he should have double-digit wins and very few losses. I mean, you shouldn't be losing games if you're only very many games off. If you're giving up less than 2 runs a game as a pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, even though they.
Or go ahead.
I was going to say I agree because what he's doing is incredible. And do you think that Pittsburgh? Do you think after this season, do you think they're going to go out and try to do something to get some players in there, or they're going to just let this kid end up going because he's not going to stay there if they don't do something?
If they were smart, they would go do something. But the way Pittsburgh Pirates usually operate, I don't see them doing too much. They'll to bring guys in to try to get him to stay. I think he'll probably be there throughout his first contract, and then after that he'll probably be gone. I hate to say it because I think Pittsburgh has one of the nicest ballparks in the league. It'd be nice to see them be competitive again. I remember when they used to be a good baseball team, but yeah, I just don't think the ownership is really committed to spending the money that it takes to improve that team.
Yeah, unfortunately. And what was you going to say? We kind of talked at the same time.
I don't remember. I can't remember where it was.
I think you could argue Skeens there's other great pitchers out there, but I think there's an argument to make Skeens is the best pitcher out there right now. He's definitely one of them, sure. If you was Pittsburgh, how would you go if it was your decision? Would you just go after more pitching? Would you go after hitters? What would be the best strategy for them if they was going to do something? How do you think they would be the best way to go about it?
Well, they have another pretty good young pitcher in that Jones. So I think they got to look at their offense is where I think their biggest thing they need to do is that they got to get more productive on offense. I think it don't even have to be necessarily like a big home run hitter. They just need get some guys that get on base. I think that's their biggest thing. They need to get some guys that can consistently get on base because if they could get where they can score, if they could get where they're averaging scoring 3, 4, 5 runs a game, I think they would win quite a few games because their pitching's not terrible, but they just they have trouble scoring runs. Kind of like what the Reds were at the beginning of the season. Like beginning of the season, we couldn't score no runs. Our pitching was good, but we couldn't score no runs. And our bats, the Reds bats have started to, the guys have started coming around. I think that's what Pittsburgh needs to do is bring in maybe a couple of veteran guys that get on base to go with some of these young guys that you have that you're going to be bringing up out of the minor leagues and some of the young guys on your roster. Get a couple of veteran guys with some experience, like they're good hitters and get on base to kind of help bring them guys along. Because I mean, Pittsburgh is going to be the same as like the Reds and these other like small market teams. The only way you're ever going to get to a deep playoff run and win a World Series is going to be by your minor league system, the guys you draft and developing them and hoping you got to hit on. Hopefully you can hit on 3 or 4 of them that are in this like the same group, kind of like we have with McLean, Dela Cruz, and then add some veterans around them. I think that's the best way for like some of these smaller market teams like the Pirates and Reds, and I mean that's your best option to try to compete.
But luckily our pitching is hit. You know, I mean Abbott and Green and other pitchers have young guys have stepped up, and they still got more down there. That's the thing that's surprising that Pittsburgh's minor league, they really hasn't built it up because our minor league team is the Indians here, and that's there's still the Pirates AAA, and you don't hear. I mean, of course, you heard about Skeens, you heard about Jones, but other than that, you ain't heard about very many players coming up. So that's something I agree they have to get better at, and if they are, I don't know about it. But again, I don't follow the Pirates a lot.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say I'm not sure how good the Indianapolis Indians are this year, but the Indians there for a while was they were a pretty good minor league team. So you would have thought it would have carried over some to Pittsburgh, and it really hasn't. Excuse me.
Well, that's one thing I noticed with the Reds and their minor league teams. Their minor league teams necessarily weren't always the best teams as far as winning their leagues and stuff, but they had a lot of people coming up, and not only in just AAA, single A, they had people that were getting better and moving to double A, and people from double A moving to triple A. So you've seen that improvement. What'd you think about Burns the other day for the Reds? Of course, his first game he pitched really well, but his second game come back to reality. He only got 1 out. Do you think it was just a little too soon for him to move up? I mean, to only be in. I mean, I know he had. I believe he did have 4 years in college, and he's a very good college pitcher. But to move from low single A to high single A to the major leagues in probably like 2 or 3 months, that's a big step.
Excuse me. I don't know if I'd say it was too soon. Because it was kind of what I expected his second start. Maybe not quite that bad, but after the way his first start went, I expected the second start not to be near as good. I mean, that's just damn it. Excuse me. That's just what you're going to get out of a rookie, especially a young guy like that. That hasn't really played no AAA. It was all, like you said, low A and then high A. They brought him up. I hope they stick with him and keep at least give him a couple more starts, see how he does. Now, if he comes back out his next start and really struggles, okay, then yeah, you might think about maybe moving him down to AAA because you don't want to ruin his confidence.
No,
but I'd give him at least a couple more starts because I think that second game was more of an outlier than what's going to happen consistently. I think it was just it's part of the growing pains of becoming a major league pitcher. You're going to have some bad games, but I did like that Francona. I didn't leave him in there too long. I thought Francona done a good job of let's go out here and get him before maybe it does run his confidence and he gets too overwhelmed. So, and that's another reason I think maybe leave him up is you have an experienced manager that I think will handle him the right way.
Yeah, and and not making excuses, but man, for a guy to come in, he went up against 2 really good teams that hit the ball. I mean, the Yankees are a very good hitting team, and the Red Sox are a very good hitting team. And to face that, that's not an easy task. Man, it's not like he was going against Colorado Rockies. I mean, so that's that's tough first two starts. So yeah, I hope he gets a couple more
reason.
starts.
That's a good point. That's another reason I'd give him a couple more starts.
Yeah. Next up, I had the NHL, and this was really interesting to me when I found out about this. That the Florida, I knew they had 3 of the top 5 free agents coming out, and it was interesting to see what happened. Well, they got everybody signed. They not only did they get everybody signed, they got everybody signed their core through 2030. So their team is intact pretty much until 2030. Chris, that's pretty unbelievable. I mean, arguably the best team for the last 3 years has been the Florida Panthers. They've won 2 championships back to back now, and now your team's completely intact. I mean, and probably the main reason that was done because the players want to stay together and play together. They probably took less money. They could have got more money somewhere else. Some of them could. But to have 3 of the top 5 free agents, other teams out there licking their chops wanting to get some of them guys, and they kept them. So that's just unbelievable. I got to see the general manager on TV a little bit ago with McAfee. He was pretty excited, to say the least. What's your thoughts on the Florida Panthers and being able to do that through 2030?
Yeah, it's crazy that they were able to lock everybody up like that. But so really, the main thing they got to worry about now is just if the guys can stay healthy. I mean, because if they stay healthy, they should be good, pretty damn good for the next few years. Not only, like you said, if they won the Stanley Cup the last 2 years, they were in the Stanley Cup Finals the year before that. So I mean, they've been in the finals the last 3 years. And then it don't look like they're going to be slowing down anytime soon. I mean, I'm sure they're the favorite to probably win it again next year. I know it'd be a three-peat, and that's rare, but with everybody coming back, they got to be either favorite or second favorite, probably by the Vegas odds to win the whole thing next year.
I think they'd have to be the favorite. I mean, they won pretty convincingly. I mean. Yeah, I think they'd have to be the favorite. I don't see how they couldn't be, other than the odds. How often does a team hit a three-peat? So people are going to say that, but I still think you'd have to make them a pretty heavy favorite. And the way they play with such a good goalie and tough physical play, don't make a lot of mistakes. They're going to be tough to beat.
Really, the only thing that can slow them down would be injuries.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't say, well, are they going to stay hungry? Because that hasn't been a problem for the last 3 years. So you don't think that's going to be an issue. And I think what they're going for is history. I mean, can we win 3 straight? Can we win 4 straight? Can we win 5 straight? If you're going to keep this team together through 2030, in their mind, who's going to beat us? I think that's a legitimate thought. The last thing I wanted to touch on real quick, I can't remember. I know I did off air, but I can't remember if I did on air yesterday. And I know you didn't get to comment on it. Ben Askren, he was a college wrestler, also MMA fighter, got ill and got pretty ill, and actually looked like he was going to die. He had both lungs was badly infected. I don't really even remember what the disease is that he has, but he needed double lung transplant. Insurance wouldn't pay for it. He had insurance, but insurance would not pay for it. And Jake Paul came out and stepped up. I don't know if he paid for all the surgery, but at least paid the majority. I know he had the surgery and is doing well. Not only did Ben Askren do that, but he also called out some of these other people. Called out the guy, Chris, I'm forgetting his name, the main guy at UFC, White. Called out some of those guys, said, where are you guys at? You guys are millionaires, billionaires, and why can't you guys help some? So, but from what I understand, Jake Paul paid for the surgery. I'm not a huge Jake Paul fan, but I give him a lot of credit if he's doing stuff like this. So, and one other fact on Jake Paul, he is ranked now 14th and I believe it was WBA cruiserweight division. And the thing that shocked me about that was I don't follow boxing like I used to, and the cruiserweight's not one of the more popular divisions. But when I started looking at that top 15, the first 13 fighters were all foreign fighters, not a fighter from the United States in the top 15 until you get to Jake Paul and to number 15. So I thought that was kind of surprising. Where's all our United States fighters in that cruiserweight division? So your thoughts on Jake Paul and being ranked and also this Ben Askren thing?
Well, first of all, the Ben Askren stuff sucked. I've always been a big Ben Askren, a big Askren fan. Two-time champion from wrestled for the University of Missouri. So I mean, I watched him in wrestling before he ever went to UFC or in some of the other fighting organizations that he was in. So hearing about him having that disease and having all the trouble, and then the struggle of having insurance, but they wasn't going to cover it. I'm not the biggest Jake Paul fan either. Like when it comes to the boxing, I just want to see him fight some real boxers. But I mean, hey, he has my respect. Anybody that'll spend that kind of money on another human, especially it ain't like it was family or anybody like anything like that. It's just helping somebody out. Like I think that shows a lot about his character, whether you agree with some of the stuff he's done in the past or and all that. I know some people don't like him. I don't really pay attention to a lot of stuff. I haven't dug into his past like that, so I really don't know a lot about the guy. Other than he's a good athlete. Like I watch him box and stuff like that, but I don't know a whole lot about like him personally. But no, I mean, I think it's great what he did, and hopefully Askren keeps doing well and at least can get healthy and live a pretty good life.
Yeah. Yeah, his wife said the surgery was successful. Everything looks pretty good, is what I read. So, yeah, that's definitely good. And he's got my respect. I mean, yeah, I don't have a problem as an athlete. I don't follow him that much. I mean, he's a big YouTube guy and stuff, and I don't follow that a whole lot in that way. But now he's ranked. Now I want to see if he's going to fight somebody. I mean, let's fight the number 15 guy or let's fight the number 10 guy. You're at 14th ranked now. Let's fight somebody. Now, to that credit, he's got everything to lose. He's got nothing. In a lot of ways, he's got nothing in the game because he's already fights for big money. You know, the only thing he'd be fighting for is to prove himself. You know, to prove that I am this good. You know, I can be a top 5 fighter. You know, that's the only thing he's fighting for because it ain't money because he's making more money the other way. So do you think that's a detriment to him, or do you think he has that mentality that he can overcome that? Chris, you're muted.
It could be a detriment, but it's also been a plus for him because of his name, he was able to get these big payday fights without being ranked or without even having a whole lot of boxing experience. So if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't be where he's at right now. So I mean, it could be a little bit of a detriment, but it's also been a big plus for him because of his name and being smart promoting things. He's been able to get these big payday fights that a lot of fighters can't get without even really proving himself. It is a lot of pressure on him, but if he can take one of these fights and beat one and win one of them, then he's just going to even explode more because then people are going to feel like he's more of a legit boxer than just entertainment.
And that's one thing I got to give him credit for, and I'm sure people he's got with him, his team, is he's made a lot of smart decisions, picking the right people to fight. And I think when he goes to try to pick an opponent here, I think he'll try to pick somebody. It may be the number 7 guy or number 8, but it's going to be somebody that's going to match up with him well. That they feel like that even though that he may be the 14th fighter and they may be the 10th or the 7th or whatever he fights, that he's going to have a good chance to beat him. They're going to pick the right opponent. And people are going to say, well, how can he get to pick the opponent? Because most of them guys that are ranked, Even though he's ranked a lot lower than them, they're going to get more money by fighting him. So
Yeah,
it's going to
he's going to be the A side.
yeah. So he's very smart. I mean, he's been very impressive on how he's done this and how he's made his money. And I think he's got a good team around him. So I mean, I'll be a lot more into him once he fights, a ranked guy, even if it's a number 15 guy. I mean, fight. You're 14, let's fight 15, or let's fight 13. Do something. But I think that's pretty interesting. And I was shocked though that all the other fighters ranked ahead of him are all foreign fighters. I did not realize that that's the way things were going. And because I know we get a lot of fighters from Mexico and stuff like this, but most of these fighters were from more. So it's kind of crazy. But well, that's all I got today. Do you got anything?
No, I think we about covered everything. All right. Well,
It'll be interesting what the Pacers do.
we appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room and at ESEN. We'll be back tomorrow with another show right around 2:00. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.